Hi. In today's videos, I'm gonna store the data that we have processed in the previous video into a database, and I will be using mysql as our database. So here's what we're gonna do in this video. Um, as we have this ring, grid, actual, client, whatever here. So what I plan to do is that I create a table for client grid. And in that table, this table would be kind of linked to, I don't know how to delete this, right? And I will create another tree table that's storing our actual client data, and another one for this will be our MLP predicted client. This will be the baseline predicted client. So this grid ID, um, we will be storing the grid ID. We store the all of sort of the coordinates. In this actual prime, we will be storing um, the prime accounts. We will have a foreign key that reference to the root ID. Right? So this will be the primary key of this table. Right? And the same thing for this one. And then let me draw it once. So we'll go into this. Go to this. Scaling this to this. Right? And we rolling this to this. So now I'm gonna create database connections in Django. I already set up the database called crime research here. So currently there's no table or anything in this database. And we do need something called mysql client. It's an adapter for our, and it is need within the connection between Django and our local or our database. So I'm going to go ahead to make sure that um, we have that. So I'm just going to activate our virtual environment, and I think it is something called MySQL client, something called this. So mysql line. So we successfully install. Now let's go to our settings.py, and we have to set up our database connections. We find it something here. So here we are gonna add that into here. Alright, so our backend will become mysql, and I'm just gonna bring this into here so it's easier to see. So, and the engine, right? We want our name. Our name essentially be the name of the database. As I name this is kind research, and we may have any other database. So let's go ahead and name this to our research. User, I created our user here, which is at admin, and it's localhost. So in our user here, we have our password gonna be here that I've set up. Host to be localhost. And remember that when we are publishing, like deploying our database on cloud service, we have to hide this into an environmental file, which is .env, because people can easily connect to our database. So we have our options. Init, man, it set SQL nodes into strict branch tables. In here, so this line command is we are setting the our database into a strict I think this is transitional table. It's basically like it will automatically um, deleting the connection if we are dealing any related table, and we want our charge set to be UTF-8M. So this basically allow us to using like normal alphabets and numbers and stuff in our database to store. So here, so now we are already completely set up our database. After that, we will going to create a schema for our database. So we will create a command called, let's see, match.py app. I'll say start here, and we should be able to see that we have something called storing here. So in our models, I have created a script that create our models that I mentioned at the start of the video. So here we go and copy this. Okay, so basically here we are creating first, we creating a client grid class, which is the client grid models, like the client grid table. And our client grid will have grid IDs, which is unique, and also a primary key of the table that I've already mentioned with this. For geographic coordinates, we have this, right? Because we want to store our grid ID with the coordinate, like all of them. So we have central longitudes, central latitude, and stuff, and this will be a float number. Create that. We might need this, but yeah, ordering variables and stuff, and I might want the database table, database name to become function find, say client app, but I don't know if we have something called db table in Django. db table. I think we do have the name of the table to create a foreign here. Let's go here. Uh, label and we can say. So yeah, we can use db table to override the default table names that its happy conventions, kind of like the name of the app and then following with um, the name of our model. So here we already create, and then we will also print when we are doing this. I mean, when we are later on, we will be running the migrations, and this will be printing in our terminal. So class actual, this is our actual client tables. So yeah, we have our foreign key linking to the grid. Linking to the grid. Okay, nice. We have our target periods. This will be example like this. Models interfields, use among formats, actual climb, right? We have our rank, right? And we want our process info, recording dates, source file. We might need this, but like not really. And the target periods and the grid would be the unique record here because you know it can be repeat as the actual climb. The actual climb counts. The grid it will be repeat, but like the grid and the target periods not gonna repeat. So here we can also set our db table to be actual climb like that. Same thing for this. I'll be naming the db table to be MLP file. So the school, we after find counts, we want this to be predicted. We want this to name as MLP, predicted counts, and we don't really have this. It's our additional specific field confidence score. Predict confidence here. So we do not have this. We only have grid targets, accounts. So yeah, we don't have that. Our model versions. We might want this in the future, but not now. And our predicted dates, we do not have that. Not have that. Okay. And we might need, not really. So class baseline predictions. We are here. This is our baseline model. Baseline predicted counts. Uh, do not work to a method process and target periods. Method. We do not have method. Honestly, we don't have this because I will run super data streaming and this to our link and the data slide science see science and show spike because we are missing the baseline data here in front of so here for a long of 8,000 we are rolling to our native pipeline and we are running to let's see I remember would be call in for net so now we can have our data here that is 60 it's called find T1 so the S a bit because our, it's gonna change a little bit. Let's start the script with this phrase at our baseline. Um, so yeah, it would be fine. Here we don't have the method. Um, so we don't have that. This we only have um group ID, our accounts, target periods, and a bunch of group ID. Like, we also need rank. Like this actually fine. We will need this rank here too. And we'll add this save it. Uh, it's fine. Here we don't have direct. Method. So here we have our model. So after having our model, we can now, but let's see, cannot access attributes, target periods, click the ID, and so we have to link settings. We need to add the new app that we created, which is named drawing. Yeah, right. So now we can run migrations, make migrations. Okay, so here we have to make migration between before we doing something like so. Actually, we can do this here, right? See what I can do. Python manage.py like migration. Sure. So perfect. We can now see that Django have automatically create for us the new client grid model like this. So if we go here and say subtable should be showing us any table, like um, there's no table for some reason, but like oh we have to make migrations. So yeah, we create some migrations, say that like to make change to the model, and then we have to like actually perform um, our change. So we run manage.py and then migrate. So it's saying here that it's applying change to the table like that. So after this, I think we should actually have here storing. So yeah, we have a bunch of things that it's called here, which is weird. So I forgot to name our model. Values.py in our storing. Up and down. Yes, we are missing. So that's why our table gonna have like really weird names like this kind of. So that's why we wanna in our table specifically. This will be the baselines, right? Let's go up. We also want this we put this is our MLP and let's scan this we predicts. Let's scan this line predict. And maybe we want this to be actual with that. Should it be like this? So here we are gonna run again, and this should be our backend and Python mysql next migration. So it's gonna rename the table for us. So now so then Python py and migrate. So now if we do a query again, we can see our table have change its name. We have client grid baseline predicted. We have MLP predicted, and our actual predicted, which is good. We can try to do like the query. Let's say all actually predicted at 51 tables up there to but let's go table. Mm, here. So if we select the table, we can see now this is what we have. So we have the ID, the target periods, and we have actual time, we have rank, we have recorded dates, specified in the grid ID, and the grid ID is actually a reference to our grid table. So we can do size everything from our prime grids like that. and here we can see it's showing our center, longitude, center, southwest, and stuff like that. This is good. So ourselves from everything. Um, so we have our MRP and this kind of that um, beautiful, cool target period, baseline counts, rank, and grid ID. So since we have successfully create our table, now we are heading to um, applying the script that I have made here, that we are um, opening the CSV file, and we are storing the data into the table. So my logic is that we will be going over, um, we are first opening the CSV file, and we are extracting the grid ID, like all of the grid coordinates, and if it's not exist, we will kind of store into this grid ID, right? And then our grid ID will have something like um, whether it exists. And let me check if that or not. Wait, hold on. I think that the grid table should have like whether we are having the data from, but do we really need this? I think yes. I think we will need time here. We are missing the time column. I mean, for the grid ID, we do not need that. To be honest, we don't really need that. But for the other table, we need the target periods, and we'll be storing, things like that. Should totally defines like for a ring, like ring one in a period of time, it would be linked to a grid ID. So I think it's basically fine. So yeah, we are extracting the grid coordinate and the grid ID stored here. Like every single time we are going like every single row of a CSV file, and then we will kind of store into this actual file MLB predicted and stuff. That and we're starting two here, and here, and here, and here. Right, so let's keep going. Shit, bye. So here, we will be creating. So I will creating a file named processing.py, and we already have the logic that here space into this. So let's go over this a little bit. So transaction, this is our prime data processor. We have parsed our integer, our period from string type into integer, and then we will have these functions that it will get or creating grid ID. So it will either update or create if the grid ID and this sort of data is not exist. So basically, we would pass the grid data into this method, and it will create in the it will create the grid ID with mapping with the coordinate into our crime model, which is the crime grid table, and it's gonna return it return this object and the boolean value of like created or not. So this is actual logic of like import the actual crime history. So in our file path, we have our file path, and here we will initialize the log data. We are opening the file, read the file. We will loop over the index and the actual data of the row start from 1 because like for the first line it would be the name of the columns. So in X kind of turn this off. So here we are pausing the periods. We are getting the target periods paused, so it will become an integer of like 2023-02, and we are passing the rows, like every single row, into this prime data processor. So it will create new grid ID if it does not exist in the current grid table. And if it is created, just print here, like just basically we printing stuff for the log data so we can see. And now here, this is basically what we do, like the actual prime. We are doing some clicks here. For the grid ID would be grid. See? So we are passing the grid here. The target period is gonna be target periods. For the default, which is the other data, we have the rank, which is the actual prime count we're getting from here, and we are getting the rank integer row rank, the row dot get rank else not. The source file gonna be the path of the file that we get. Okay, this is cool. Scroll down. We don't have this, right? Object create with. We don't have this too. Yeah, we do have predicted counts, but we don't have this. And we wanna change this into predicted prime count, just like that. Something counts. The default, yeah. Missing our ranking and stuff like a lot. So let's kind of copy this here. Why is update or create and is create for this? We do update or create instead. That and we'll basically do the same things. Copy this and do that. So it's not consistent. Like I forgot sharing. So let's wait here. We take this source file here. Let's for uh it counts. The part we just put it count the count just I use that to set the grid. I did think so. Like grid here. Hey, what is it doing here? Baseline model, target periods, baseline is our baseline can count, but this is instead is 91. We have it, we have it at all, and to be honest, we can do the same thing to this. I find one there, and here, let's see, it's gonna be like shift dates or rates with each target period. Um, our baselines this can be passed as default. Let's add the baseline counts. Let's see. Do this table this time. Separate count. This would be one, and it would be that. So let's see. Yeah, like we do not have the grid ID. Why are we printing grid ID here? It's not gonna work. AI is dead ass a bit to be honest. But we do not have this grid. See. And what the hell is this? We did not hit this to be honest, but let's just leave it there. And after creating our process, we need a script to kind of run this sort of operation. That um, command, let's see, I think we're creating a machine good. Yeah, yeah, and click for copy. And it's very good. Yeah, so yeah, we will try with the actual file first. So, so we are not receiving like kind of this error again because we have now like connected successfully connected the database to our server, but like um I have to run this thing. I think that the computer but not now but just get URL.file, so let's see. Uh, and then stuff five. Uh, yeah, but those do Python and yeah, stuff five. Why we need this for this? So it's basically fine to do that shit. Let's try what might happen. So, see our data is in data actual time directly. So this just gonna be managed by import all bits. That's that save your. Oh shit. This is crazy. We have error. Oh shit, this is gonna be bad. So I can see it successfully unlock command. Uh, this kind of somewhere import actual client, so it's print this, and then say that it's have error or something. Just run again. Define import. So we have a bunch of error. Hmm. the everything. It's just returning processing data. Okay, let me see. Okay, we'll start with the training data. Just printing here. Everything says error, and we get the error, and it's printing rows center error 15. So we are having this error. So this means that there's some problem happening to this. Every single time trying this thing, bunch of error. Singer century longitude. Yeah, got to this in the chat. Let's start the point. We're passing to processing. Okay, okay, good here. I will have Oh shit, there's actually nothing here. Wait, hold on. Wait, no, no. Uh, here, have to do here, like, process there. This, this. Wait, so it's work, bro. I was importing the data from like the raw data path, so it was messing up. Like, bro, I was checking the file and there's literally like no error. Like, I don't even know this is like correct. So this is cool much. So let's see in our client with pizza. We are storing a bunch of this, which is beautiful. And I would do the same thing for um the kind of spectrum on the script. Say unlucky prediction, right? And we also want to make import baselines predictions. Hi, here. And basically just copy the same thing. Like we put this in our session arguing over we don't really care about this, but we do care about this is because we want to import our MLP participant. So let's see our session. We are importing our MLP predictions CSV. So it's gonna be we import MLP prediction CSV. Right. And let's see if we have any. Just double check. Import MLP prediction CSV. We are path and the model versions. Uh, fucking need this. Yes, I believe that. Okay, go back. We do not need source. What the fuck? Yeah, source options. We need this. And this right into so try should be map it mlp.csv. This will be import and then we predictions. Yes. Some total row. here we go. So here's in our inflow MLP prediction CSV. So there. I mean, basically, we want to like do the same thing for this one, right? So maybe we copy this here. What the fuck is this? Just copy the same logic because it's the same thing, and this is what needs to be correct. Um, Copy this. Okay. Before doing this, I think we will want to kind of change the models because this is pretty messed up. Uh, we basically just want the same thing for the actual client for the MLP and the prediction, but just like kind of different a little bit. So here, so you can see here, right? Yeah, this is free as, to be honest. Yeah, let's just store the same thing, like, cause why not? Model, copy going down here, and yeah, it's the same. Pretty sure it's the same. Beside that, we also have this visual spot. Let's change our data because we want our table to be consistent. And we want the same thing for our table statement. Just here, foreign key, our grid. We also want this. Right, this into maybe accounts. This is basically the name of the tree. Field. We want this. The other is basically same thing. And self identity and stuff. And we might do the same thing for the model frame. So we want this. Let's add. So and previou. Okay. I think I stop by. Get It's impossible to add a few recorded dates, which we can delete table. Try, I can delete the so want to try this one. So, so we want to add a few recorded dates which are now true to this notification without providing any false. Okay, so this is somewhere in the what's happening. Reset default dates. Um, Probably I fucked up the shit, bro. Really, I think we shouldn't like delete the table manually again. No way, man. Alright, so let's drop the entire database and create a new one. Oh, this is less up. Now this is done. And let's create our database. Create database. So we need to this. Like this. We have a database and we're gonna use that database and special table. So now we're gonna run the script once again. And maybe we need to change like to remove this file. Okay, so delete this and that. Delete all the migrations. And run this again. And then we run Python mysql. Are we missing anything? No, not really. Let's search. So now we are having a fresh database. Having this table. Yeah. Okay, so sure. Maybe the same thing for this table. We have the same thing. Okay, just like that. Okay, cool. So now we kind of want to change our processing.py a little bit. It's just basically the same thing. So that's why we are just delete this and copy this in this working. Okay, we also want to delete this. Let's copy this down here, paste that. We want to change it a little bit. It's like that. This would be our Adobe count, the time counts, and speed. counts. This is rank, same thing. This is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Um, the same thing for this. Screw this up. With this, and we want to paste it there. And here, that's it. That's really good for another bit, which is our baseline predicted. We have baseline predicted counts. This is so it's like this T1 multi line, and we want to path this right inside like that. That, and we don't have that. This, that, and we don't need that for now. That, and we have to change the table. This is actually, yeah, you know, this is not actual, but like the American. It's our NLP predictions. So the and now we can try run Python and stuff. Actual shows here, and this should work. Cool. Now, yeah, data like that, and we're running the same thing but for our map that's active. And this is our import after prime that, and we also want to map our MMP with the baseline. So this have to be the baseline data. It's currently, and this is actual just like that. Baseline predictions. We have as well. Yes, we do. Hopefully it's working. We are having some error. It's a import functions having no attributes commands. Oh, because we didn't even create this, right? But yep. This here is not going to change anything. So let's see. Basically, we can run the same file, but this would be different. As in our processing.py, we are calling it import. Let's see, baseline predictions with S. J F5 here. Let's import baseline predictions as we select that, and now we can run the file again. Still having errors. Right. Oh, this one. Baseline predictions if we save it. Wow. And successful. Now we can see we have successfully stored all the data into the database, and let's just kind of compare a little bit if it is actually correct. I will do confirm here. Yeah, let's bring this into our database in the work purple stream. Let's see, let's say in our actual data, right? So the time count 18 gonna be mapping with line ones. The grid ID is this, and in our grid ID, let's try to solve this grid ID. Right. So we have a grid ID of 1,402.7. This we have our time perfect 07. This is fire, to be honest. Let's check our other, we have baselines. All the data being stored here. Lots of data. And we store like specifically just 100 grid ID. So yes, this is cool. So yeah, overall today we have store all of the CSV file into our database, and in the next video I'm going to try to deploy our database and kind of connect to our backend server, and hopefully if maybe we can deploy our backend or something like that, but probably I will just deploy the database, try to connect the front end. We will be probably make an endpoint that we accepting requests from the front end, and to gather the data from the database, and then we will display the data to the front end. And yeah, it will be a while. It's gonna take time, but this is the help today. So software did, but let's do it to database. So see you in next video.